obviously a pretty good bounce back from Thursday's game. I know that you're probably very disappointed of what happened in the New Orleans game, but a pretty good bounce back, obviously, against the reigning champs still.
Yeah, I think overall, I think the girls showed tremendous fight. I think the girls, after a game like Thursday, that's a hard game to bounce back from. That was a tough loss, and I don't take anything away from UNO, but we absolutely did not play on either side of the ball. We just didn't play with a lot of composure. And so to move into today's game against number one, you're going to have one of two teams, and thankfully we had a team that showed up and played mature, and really this game even came down to composure only in the first quarter. We talked about it was 14-19 in the first quarter, but 11 of those points were off our turnovers. Flip-flop that to a 14-8, and then it was 8-8, it was 14-14, and we lost the fourth by 3. I mean, right there, we keep telling them, you guys are a really good ball club, but you got to believe in yourself, you got to believe in this team, and you got to have that intense composure. So we kind of did it to ourselves. Again, I never take anything away from our opponents, but it's just about correcting us. But the message in the locker room today was vastly different than the message in the locker room on Thursday. Losing is part of the game. It's hard to be a champ. There's only one team in every conference. I mean, the stats are against you every single day. And so I think that they did a tremendous job. Losing the way we lost Thursday, inexcusable. Losing how it happened today, that was just a difference of a few possessions, and I'm incredibly proud of them.
So you could tell, obviously, when Southeastern comes in at they're like, okay, we got this. But you could tell they were a little shaken up, especially, in the second quarter. They all both had 8 points, and then it kind of continued on. They didn't really have a lot fall because of the defense we've talked about forever.
Yeah, and we talk about our demon defense, and that's what keeps us in a lot of ball games, and that's what puts us in a position to play such a close game with SLU and some of these, top 1, 2, 3 teams. It's our defense, We didn't shoot a bad percentage. We were I think 10 for 15 from the free throw line, which is something we've struggled tremendously. And so I think as long as we keep game by game, hopefully sooner rather than later, but game by game, keep committing to fixing ourselves, we're putting together a full game by the time we get to March. We've just got to have that belief system and give ourselves an opportunity to be confident by the time we get to March. So we got to be able to snag some of these wins, but they did well down the stretch. I apologize for my technical, although I totally meant to get it. I told them, I said, I only got one way to fight for you guys sometimes, and sometimes that's by me sharing exactly how I feel about the call. They seemed to appreciate it, but it did turn into a 4-point swing, and we lost by 8. So as a coach, you really second guess a little bit about that. But I told them I got them the way they got me, and we're just going to keep rallying together, win or loss.
A few players that I've noticed that have become more confident, that you don't second guess at all, are Nia and Jernisha. Like being able to get her start today.
Yep.
What have you kind of seen from them two and the consistency they've had?
I would say the biggest characteristic trait that they bring, which to me translates into a skill set, is they got a dog mentality. They're tough, they fight, they're going to get on the ground, they're going to make some extra things happen. Are they flawless? No. Is it offensively always happening for them? No. But the effort's always there. And again, that's what I think really was missing on Thursday. And we thought that those two kids deserved to start. They put that fight out. And then we can just keep growing them, more so skill set wise and talent wise. But they're doing a really good job. I thought Carmela Dean had a very complete game. She had 5 assists on 3 turnovers. And so the chaos that happened in the beginning, that was tough, but for a point guard to get dogs for 92 feet, and although we had a couple of release outlets, I thought she played a really good game. Probably made a few too many possessions harder than what it needed to be, but she's been playing the 2 all year. She's moved over to the 1, and she's doing a really good job. But again, I think collectively, anybody that stepped foot on that court tonight, they served their purpose. I thought the bench energy was good. Obviously, we challenged them to fight for something much bigger than themselves. Today's not about us, win or lose. It's not about us. It's absolutely about those that have fought and lost and are fighting for the survivors. And I think sometimes the ones that kind of get left out are the caregivers in the group and how hard it can be on them as well. And so today was about them, and we tried to stay pretty focused on that and fighting for something way bigger than ourselves.
So how was this one, I guess, different than the other, the ones that were really close? Was it because of Southeastern, or was it because, how the game played out, or just the fight they had?
I think it's just overall fight. I think they wanted to win. I think they came out and put themselves in a position down the stretch to win. Again, that first quarter just haunted us with a little bit of too much chaos, right? Not paying attention to the scout, not crossing over in front of incredibly feisty little defenders. So we didn't stay locked in on that front, but they showed a lot of fight down the stretch, and that's what kept us in a game with a very good team.
You mentioned the first quarter turnovers. You had 11 in the first about 12 and a half minutes of the game, but shockingly, once you were able to not cough up the ball, you were able to put together better possessions and put more points on the board.
I mean, that's just how it happens. Obviously, when you're tighter with the ball, you're giving yourself extra possessions, and that's just part of the game. Kind of like what I had said. 11 of their points in the first quarter were fast break points off off our turnovers. Otherwise, you flip-flop that score to a 14-8, puts us in a position. But again, I can't stress enough, although we did have that, we had 13 points at halftime. They only ended with 17 points off turnovers. And so that just means that the team got better as the game progressed and showed a lot of maturity down the stretch.
And you guys have another tough one on Thursday at Corpus Christi. I mean, they're third in the conference. I believe they won again today. So they're something like 8-3 in conference, something like that. But I mean, it's another difficult challenge, another day, another difficult opponent.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the Southland Conference. Really, I think my 4 years here. Obviously, when my first year it was COVID, so we didn't play everybody. But I think this is the most competitive year that we've had. I think it's anybody's game. I think the bottom can beat the top. I think the top can beat the bottom, and anybody on the in between. So it's going to be who's better that day, not whose record's better on that day. And that's what we're going to keep focusing on. We played Corpus tight here. I think we gave up an opportunity to definitely get that win. But again, if we commit to correcting ourselves, then Thursday's a really tough matchup. But records aside, we're a pretty tough team. And then obviously we'll translate that and move that into Saturday's game against another very tough team with UIW. But again, it boils down to us. I'm not so much worried about everybody else, as if we commit to us, you're going to see NSU women climbing the ladder.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.